bribery.
The government
and the characters who are actually the key players in this have a history. And looking at what they're doing or the extent they can go to make money, to commercialize, to put personal interests over national interests. If in Darfur, where you have the blood money, the diamonds, the gold, the RSF, you go all the way to the 23 in DRC, the diamonds. These are people who can go to any extent for that extra money. What would stop such people from auctioning strategic
demonstrated what happens when government asset transactions are conducted without transparency and without competitive process or genuine public buy-in. The National Assembly and the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning must reject both instruments in their current form. Number one, the National Infrastructure Fund Bill 2026, a solution in search of a problem. Kenya's infrastructure deficit is not a product of institutional scarcity. It is a product of execution failure, procurement corruption, and fiscal opacity. Adding a new fund to broken systems adds another layer of dysfunction with reduced oversight. As of 2024, Kenya proliferation, the control of budget as flagged as a major governance risk. Article 206 of the Constitution is unambiguous. All public revenue must flow through the consolidated fund and be subject to parliamentary appropriation. We underline that. The proposed fund risks creating a semi-autonomous financial reservoir where cabinet-level officials can deploy significant public resources without annual parliamentary approval. On CS Bandi's admission and misleading Parliament, these concerns are directly confirmed by the conduct of Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Bandi in a sworn affidavit filed consistently presenting the fund to parliamentary committees as a public fund subject to parliamentary oversight. His court affidavit reviewed a wholly contradictory reality. The entity is not a fund within the meaning of Article 206 at all, but a limited liability company. One that had not even been incorporated when these assurances were being given to MPs. A cabinet secretary who assures Parliament of a 5 trillion shilling vehicle constitutional status, then swears under oath to his private and incorporated nature, has not made a technical error. He has misled the legislature on a matter of the highest fiscal and constitutional consequence. Of the Constitution, the National Assembly must summon CS Bandi to reconcile his parliamentary presentations with his court testimony. Parliament cannot pass legislation. Cabinet Secretary has admitted under oath was misleading. Instead, Kenya should deepen its infrastructure bond market, reform the PPP framework, that is private, public, private partnership. 3% from 3.1 trillion to 4.9 trillion against low single-digit GDP growth, and strengthen procurement oversight at project inception, where the greatest losses occur, as demonstrated by the Social Health Authority, SHA, Standard Gauge Railways, GR, and Dane JKI and Ketraco deals, the competency-based curriculum education, and the Rirone Mau Summit scandals. Number 2, session of paper number 3 of 2025, selling Kenya's crown jewels for fiscal pain relief. Safaricom is not simply of government of Kenya's stake in Safaricom PLC, structure utility, taken together, the backbone of Kenya's digital payments architecture through M-Pesa, host of critical government service delivery channels, and one of the most consistently profitable public assets on the continent. In financial year 2024, Safaricom declared a total dividend payout of 8 billion shillings, a significant share
who will be flying the flag? I know that is the elephant in the room. So far, what has been the...
Cairo, there's no elephant in no room. Okay. You know, we cannot be that static, right? We will sometimes issue statements, and then after consulting, we may vary them, because we are trying to build a broad consensus going forward. We will address that issue. We want to give that assurance to Kenyans. But don't force it on us. Thank you. Kuna mwingine?
Yes. The culture of lying is becoming common. We saw the serious lying. We know other prominent also lie.
Yeah.
What consequence will you be seeing from your side on this lie?
I think on the earlier question about the flag bearer, the only thing that is clear is that there will be one flag bearer. That you can take. In the year 2002, Mwai Kibaki, the single presidential candidate for the opposition then, was announced on 14th of October 2002, when the elections were to be held on 27th. This lying culture to an end is to send William Ruto home. There is no other remedy, because to talk about corruption and bribery, he has made bribery a way of life. It's the new normal in this country, where he is bribing people on the lawns of State House, where he's carrying money with sacks across the country, and he has laid it bare. So the police are asking, if the president is bribing people, why is he crying when we are being bribed? You know, he's the one who has set the standard for the country. And it's a very sorry state of affairs that can only be corrected on the ballot, because I don't think William Ruto can change. We have given up. I tried when I was deputy to ask him to stop lying, and he was very irritated that I can propose to him that we stop lying to the people. So I think there is no other way, there is no other remedy. I think we just have lies for 17 months, but the Constitution has set up a date to deal with such situations, and I think Kenyans will deal with it at the ballot on the 10th of August next year.
Okay.
I think you want Natosha. Moja.
Yeah, in terms of alternative, the government report in terms of what we actually raising to about 11 billion. What do you want to say about, the government saying we want to create this fund because we want to borrow for infrastructure?
I think it goes back to the earlier question. Can you trust William Ruto on anything? That is the problem. What we know is that they are creating a fund that will not go through Parliament, that will re-election. He wants 5 trillion shillings that is not approved by Parliament, that is not audited by the Auditor General, for bribing the people of Kenya. And that is the situation. So I don't think by anybody, because I don't think there is any proven matter that they have given a certain commitment and it has gone through. So I think that credibility issue is really very worrisome. Asanteni sana.
Add to that,
Allow them to go.
the second explanation is government cannot be doing business just as the private citizens. The government should not be competing with citizens in terms of making profit. So therefore, you be standing in the way by opposing this sale of the stake, the part of the government shares in some of these entities. Are you trying to stand in the way of private citizens making profit?
I think first of all, just to go back to Seth Olale, the issue of borrowing. Actually, when you look at the instrument, I think it's clause 5 to A. It is for borrowing. But what is more dangerous is lack of parliamentary oversight. And that is bigger than the budget. So I think this is what we must take with a pinch of salt, because we know the people we are dealing with. It's a very highly transactional government, and the characters who are actually the key players in this have a history. And looking at what they're doing, or the extent they can go to make money, to commercialize, to put personal interest over national interest, even in Darfur, where you have the blood money, the diamonds, the gold, the RSF. You go all the way to the M23 in DRC, the diamonds there. These are people who can go to any extent for that extra money. What would stop such people from auctioning strategic aid? What hopes do we have in this parliament? And we are saying it's not a matter of hoping. It's a matter of defending the national interest. To court on the 12th of March. So we will not just live on hope. We are responsible opposition. We are going to take on this government step by step, blow by blow, and deal with it. Thank you.